we're back once again. And we're not in the Iron Dragon, as you can see. Whee, look at that. You know, man. Great minds. Not ours, but somewhere out there. We are joined by Paul Thomas from the one and only.
Wish I was. I think there's 6 in Merthyr, isn't it?
I only know one.
Yeah.
And we're in Solemate at the top of Merthyr High Street for another episode of Just One Man Podcast. Before we go any further, as always, a huge thank you to our sponsors, EJW Carpentry. From kitchens to bathrooms, media walls to bespoke wardrobes, EJW Carpentry is a top choice for high quality workmanship with a fantastic finish. Whether it's work needing done indoors or outdoors, give you one from EJW Carpentry a call for a free no obligation quote today, and the phone number and the details to the Facebook will be on the socials and in the description. We've got another one.
First time sponsoring, but he's a good friend of mine and my wife's. Is Stefan and Charlotte from Valleys Gas. So thank you so much for sponsoring this episode for us.
Cheers, guys.
So at Valleys Gas, then, they specialise in the installation and maintenance of boilers, ensuring warmth and comfort of homes across South Wales. Their dedicated team is committed to providing top quality service, backed by years of expertise and professionalism. What sets them apart from their comprehensive boiler care packages designed to keep your heating systems running smoothly year-round. From installation to ongoing maintenance, they prioritise efficiency, reliability and customer satisfaction. Experience the difference with Valleys Gas Limited, where warmth meets reliability. That's a good ending, that is, to an advert. There's a
strong ending. No, cheers to Stefan and co at Valleys Gas Limited, as well as to you and at EJW Carpentry.
Yeah, we actually met. I met Ewan for the first time 2 weeks ago, and what an awesome guy! Really is. He's passionate about what he is, what his job is.
And his work is top notch as well. And I think, to be honest, my boiler needs servicing, so I'll probably be in touch to Valleys. Not to Ewan. I don't think Ewan does boilers, but he probably does. Who knows? So, with that being said, let's address the elephant in the room. Yeah, me and Jordan are the tallest people in this room. Jordan even more so than me. But not today. But yeah, we're in Solemate. Which we are very lucky, as we said, to be with the proprietor.
Very formal.
It is very. Hello, Paul.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, you?
I'm all right. I don't know about these.
Shrinking slowly.
I'm shrinking slowly. I think, to be honest, your journey is both very unique, but at the same time quite relatable in many aspects, in terms, of not being happy in a certain space and then finding a way through that.
Finding the escape hatch. Yeah,
that's a great way to put it. And I know that you were a part of TID Talks.
I was. Last minute call up, substitute, some might say.
Well, I think it was a worthy substitute.
Yeah,
you were great.
Well, yeah.
And I did want to do it originally. I think just days and stuff didn't work with childcare in the shop and whatnot. But yeah, good to be part of it eventually.
Yeah, Hannah.
Yeah, Han.
Yeah, come on.
And I think your story that night was really kind of understatedly powerful, and you delivered it with a lot of poise and just a lot of just honesty, which I really appreciated.
Thank you.
And I wasn't there on the night because I was in Cornwall.
In court then.
I wasn't in court.
Yeah, I was in court. He was not telling.
Yeah, I was in Cornwall. It was a late hearing, 7 o'clock. Yeah. But I did hear from very reliable sources that it was very well received. So I'm chuffed for you.
Good.
So for those people who don't know your story, now's about as good a time as any. How do you end up owning Solemate?
Probably desperation, I think is the word. I'd worked in IT since I was 17 to 40, so 23 years, quick maths. And I used to love it. Like, I worked on a lot of probably the biggest IT projects in the country. We ended up working on things after like the SOA murders and things like that, so things that really made a big difference to people's lives. I just fell out of love with it, and I think it's quite easy in a very materialistic world to put yourself in a position where you're paying monthly for things that you don't really need, and you're kind of in this space where you think, I just want to do something else, but I can't afford to.
Yeah.
And yeah, kind of stars aligned, I suppose. And I was off work sick even. I was off sick work. That's how sick I was. I was off work sick. And I just thought, right, I just can't do this anymore. And I'd
got to make a change.
Yeah, got to make a change. And I had an idea, and put it quite simply, but we opened 4 months later.
Yeah, because it's because what date is it now? The 27th of March, and you're literally like
4 days away from an anniversary or our opening.
A 1 year anniversary, which is incredible, really, to kind of build up from the ground up.
Yeah,
an independent store,
a shell.
Yeah. So I think I've kind of written this LinkedIn post to go up next week, but we went from, so myself and my partner Lucy, we sorry, I say partner, very formal, girlfriend Lucy, partner in everything, went from never working in the running industry or the sports industry, and never running a shop or anything like that, just with a passion for running and improving people's mental and physical health, and just badgered people in terms of contacts, just knocked on doors and navigated social media and email and phone calls and hunted people down at the National Running Show, and it was just a bit of a mission, really, of, well, we just got to make it work. I mean, it was we didn't have any contacts, but we just had to get there, you know.
Like, going back a little bit, when obviously we spoke about TED Talks, and obviously you said when you spoke in that, you said you literally sat down in your house with a bit of paper and wrote down what you wanted to do, and then thought, well, I can't do that, but I can do that.
Yeah.
And then you're here now.
Yeah, so I think going back, when I was off work sick, I had spent a bit of time in the gym, and I thought, right, it's time to get back into running, because running was always my therapy. Like, it was always, if you can't solve a problem when you're running, it's like it can't be solved, you know what I mean? It was just like, it was always the start. I go out for an hour and I come back with the answers. Not necessarily solutions, but kind of knew how to navigate something. So I was off work, and I thought, right, there's an ultra marathon coming up in November. I haven't trained for it, but what's the worst that can happen? So I entered that. To be fair, to off the tarmac with John and Joni, they gave me the place and said, if you do us a favour and you tail run it, we'll give you the place for it. So I was a 30-mile ultra from Merthyr to Penavon, over the top and back. Thinking that nobody would have trained less than I had, but I was wrong. And the weather was horrific. So hours and hours and hours in, torrential rain, wind. We were kind of at the top of Penavon with this couple who wanted to stop and have a photo. You can imagine the joy in my face. But I was just stood there, and this rain was just smashing me in the face, and I'm just going, this is brilliant. Like, why can't I just do this for a job? And then, as Josh said, I kind of had the rest of that race and kind of a day or two in the house just going, like, right, running, what can we do? And he was like, right, well, I can coach people, I can do couch to 5Ks. Obviously, we tried to do like a men's walking, talking group prior to this, and prior to Andy Mann's club, Andy's Man Club even. And all these things just took too long, and it was just sell stuff was one of the points on there. I thought, that's kind of good. I can use my kind of background in IT to build this website and buy the stock and sell it. And then, that just turned into this really, which again put quite simply, but
yeah, because it's very impressive.
thank you.
And I'm not saying that to blow smoke. To be honest, it is very impressive when you look at kind of destination shops for specific kind of interests and hobbies or whatever. This is like the premier place for runners, certainly as far as I know, in the valleys, and probably beyond. And I'm not a runner. The only thing I run from is my problems.
Or around the bath.
I actually run the bath and go shower. Which you wouldn't put in for me.
Oh, seamless. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I love a bath. No, I think, destination-wise, it's exactly that. We kind of had, when we were looking for premises, we were like, right, we've got to be town centre. And then we thought, well, actually, because of the things we wanted to do from the shop, like the social runs, I'm sure we'll cover in a bit, the precinct closed at 5, we looked at Trago, that closed at whatever time. We wanted that flexibility to get a bit of a community building. And I think it almost didn't matter where we went. We didn't want it remote, and to be fair, the brands wouldn't let us stick it on an industrial estate. They wanted the shop front, they wanted the high street premises to kind of advertise their products and things, which is why we went from an online thought to, shit, we actually need a shop now. Let's not swear.
Oh, no, you can swear all you want.
Oh, yes, awesome. Right, turn the filter off. And I said it doesn't really matter where we were. I think we are, as you say, we are a destination store. There's outdoor shops that sell running stuff. There's general sports shops. I think living and breathing running like we do, the level of nutrition we stock, the brands we got in, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, we're probably the only one in Wales, really.
Yeah, and like it's from shoes, socks, clothing, you name it. It's all in one shop. Like, why wouldn't you come here?
Dry rolls.
Dry rolls, don't forget dry rolls.
Don't forget the dry rolls. We see you, Facebook group.
Yeah. Who do you think you are?
How much does the brands then have an impact on how you kind of, like, I just want to touch on that part where you said that you wanted a particular shop, but you had to do it because of the branding.
Yeah, so I think going back to, I was working in an industry that I grew to hate. The sensible option would have been, as I work from home for the last 10 years or whatever anyway, would be to kind of launch an online business, build that slowly on the side without the risk of this and all the stock and all this sort of stuff. And it became apparent really early that they were fed up of the likes of Sport Shoes and Wiggle, which has obviously now gone bust, and those online companies that just didn't really add anything. It was just a very transactional, customer service was generally poor, nobody could touch or feel or try things on or get advice or all this sort of stuff. They wanted they just wanted that customer experience thing back. So quickly became apparent that it was, well, you're getting a premises or you're not, open an account kind of thing. So we found this industrial unit in Pan, which is like £4 a month or something. It was like perfect. And they were like, no, you need high street premises, you need glass, you need this, that, the other. Found a place at the bottom of town, which they were like, okay, we can kind of work with it, but we want it a bit, and then we were very lucky and thanks to kind of Merthyr Council and the landlord for kind of doing it up. And we just, the stars aligned earlier, but we just were at the right place at the right time. We were chatting to the landlord. He had just been let down with people who were about to move in. It was going to be like a beauty clinic. So they had boarded from the door down the length of the shop for little individual treatment rooms. All this was boarded up. All would be very clinical, very clean. And we just kind of said, we'll rip all that down. We keep the brick and keep some character. And so we were very lucky. We literally walked in, put some lights up, put the rails up, which again, council kind of helped us with in terms of grant funding for various bits. But a lot of money for stock.
I think it's interesting for me as someone who doesn't understand how you'd even go and set up a shop, never mind a high street shop. How much would go into it? Because for me, I would just think, they're not going to be interested about what the actual physical location of the shop. As long as you've got a shop and you can sell. But instead, it seems very much, as you said, as though, like they were very keen to know, right, well, if you're stocking us, or if we're backing you and we're going to allow you to sell our product, then we need to know that you're going to get footfall, you're going to get this, you're going to get that, which, you probably wouldn't have had up on an industrial estate.
I was going to say, so oh God, where'd we even start with that? It's the thing that blew my mind, speaking of stock and brands, things like that, was that I almost had to do a bit of smoke and mirrors to get the brands on board. Because I go to like New Balance, right, and I say, right, I want to stock your products. And they go, right, that's great. What are the brands you got? And I'd be like, yeah. But like, you think it'd be like, all right, we'll have a shop full of New Balance stuff. Great, off you go. But no, they wanted the likes of On, they wanted Brooks, I think they wanted to know that all the other brands were kind of engaging, and they wanted, as you say, this kind of central hub of stuff. But like, even some of them down to like tiny details, like, what have you got on the wall? Which is, unbeknownst to me, was, have you got slat walling? I'm going, what the hell's slat walling? I've never had a shop before. Yeah. Slat walling's that wall with loads of slats in it, and you can slot shelves and shit into it. Never heard of slat walling. I'm going, I got brick. I don't know what you mean.
I got brick and a big heart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they were over the moon with it. But we again, it's kind of in this LinkedIn post I'm going to be putting out soon. But we didn't go around to any other shops. We didn't go like, oh, we want to be like that one, or we wanted to look like that one, or I don't know. We had this vision of what we wanted, and it was going to be community based. It wasn't just going to be a shop, and we just did it as we wanted.
Well, I think you've achieved that, because it has got its own vibe, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. And look at the community is behind it as well.
And was it daunting though, knowing the town, and I'm as proud a Tydfilian as you'll ever meet, but knowing what the town has been through over the last 15, 20 years, where businesses have come and gone, are good businesses, with really good people that have tried and they've just fell on their face, or it's just been too hard. Was that ever a kind of, this is a kind of make or break, like this is all or nothing?
I think so, yeah. Well, yes. But I think a lot of it came into the fact, because it wasn't like, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but because I wasn't opening, say, I don't know, a little market stall where I could open it with 15 quid or whatever. Right? It was a lot of money, which I didn't have, and I had to go and borrow that from the bank for the stock and for fittings and all this sort of stuff. The bank weren't just going to give me money, so it needed to be planned properly. I needed to do the market research. I needed to go, right, okay, it's really Merthyr. At the time, we didn't know that there was nothing north of Merthyr. We knew it was kind of Moty and Cardiff, and then nothing. As part of the business plan, he's like, right, there's 30 affiliated Welsh athletics running clubs between Cardiff and Merthyr. There's 2 triathlon clubs in town. Every gym seems to have a running club now. Blah 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 blah. And so we put some posts out, and the feedback was amazing. All this sort of stuff. So we had a good feeling. We knew there was a gap. We didn't know. I think the initial post went out, and Bill Wells Running Club got in touch with us and kind of said, "You're now our closest shop." Right. And it was like, shit. Like in any direction, they were 40 miles away still. At least another 80 miles north, where there's no shop. That we got a real opportunity here. We kind of fed all this into the business plan. Development Bank of Wales were really good. They were looking to invest in Merthyr, which I found out afterwards and didn't know at the time. So I think we probably ticked the box, which is, again, stars aligned perhaps. But yeah, we put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into pulling everything together and just going to the bank really with a compelling, we think we can do this. And yeah, end of year one, we've blown away what we thought we would do.
Yeah.
So
and it's not as like when Mark mentioned like community. So the local community, which has just blown up. Like you said, everybody knows about it, or there's not many people who haven't known it because they pretty much pass it every day.
Yeah, there's still a lot, believe it or not, in Merthyr even. Considering we get people from all over Wales, we still get people in Merthyr that don't know about it.
Yeah. I seen that a couple of months ago. You had a lady called Liz, is it? Who's got Resilience Running.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't know who she was at the time.
No, when I seen that, I kind of started following myself then, because I was trying to run myself.
Like what?
For once.
Yeah, he came once, didn't you? Remember that photo?
Yeah, that photo was in TED Talks, wasn't it? I think it was like,
I think it was.
We'll get that photo.
Yeah, we'll drop the photo
we'll drop
with
the
Jordan. The one time he turned up for a social.
And looking at the following that she's got and the amount of kind of things she put up on about the shop was incredible.
It's that endorsement then, which is massive.
It was Saturday when she came in, so he was busy, and we just didn't get any chance to speak to him, really. I think they picked up some nutrition bits, and our boyfriend was just visiting Wales. Randomly visiting Eartha and kind of walked into the only shop in the country kind of thing. And we had a couple of messages back and forth.
It's brilliant. How the stars are lining now, it's incredible.
She's endorsed by a few brands now, and I think she's doing London in a few weeks from what I've seen.
But people come from everywhere though. Like I was in here like 2 or 3 weeks ago. There was people come walking in from Cornwall for gate analysis. It's like they come all the way, and it's like.
I mean, they haven't come specifically, but they knew we were here before they got here, which is nuts.
Oh, we know you're here, so we come here anyway because we were down in the area. It's like fair play.
We had a couple of calling the other day coming from Birmingham to Tenby. I think they had a house somewhere West Wales anyway.
Fair play.
And just did a search for running shops, all the feedback we had online, and just called in, spent some money here, and yeah. So I think touching back on the council as well, they've put out another load of kind of funding as part of the Shared Prosperity Fund at the moment, and we've kind of fed into that, saying that people come into the town and then we've kind of done a Facebook poll and things, and where they then gone and spend other money, So I think it's benefiting the town that way as well as not just us,
And the thing is, people can even just come in and have coffee.
Oh yeah.
Nose round.
And the idea was, we still got the table upstairs, but the idea was when we had the little table there, that we wanted people just to come in and have a coffee, and the idea was if you wanted to come in and sit there, you would get conversation. It wasn't ideally we didn't want just the table upstairs because that kind of wasn't what it was, but we just ran out of space. I mean, we genuinely did just run out of space. It's just grown and grown and grown. As I'm sure if you were in here like the first week we opened, it looked, after we'd spent a fortune on stock, it looked rammed as far as we can see. We look back at photos now and it's sparse like
like how much more is in there now.
It's nuts. Probably had like 6 shoes on the wall
as well.
Easy. Mad.
Touching again on that community aspect, Tuesdays have changed quite dramatically.
Forever. So Tuesdays, for people who don't know, we do a 5k social run. We always kind of say to anyone that wants to come, it's more social than run. So it's a 5k loop, which puts some people off because if I can't run 5k,
you can.
But you can.
I can.
Even you can do it. But we will walk if you need to. I've walked the entire 5k with somebody in the past who had gone.
That's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah, like this lady had gone to a running club. Wasn't Mertha, I just want to put that out there. Gone to a running club and had gone to their kind of couch to 5k type group and was left behind. And it's like, no, that's not.
Me and Jordan actually spoke about it when he came out running with me a couple of times last year. And he was like, "Oh, you can't run with me, I'm too slow." I'm like, "Well, we're going out together, so we'll run together." And we done the whole loop together, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, and we'll stop. I mean, even if everyone's running, we'll stop 5 times on kind of a standard loop that we do, and everyone will have a chat. And it's
exactly.
It was the first time I done it.
And last.
He was waiting for that. It was.
We taking bets when you going next? Oh,
no. Come round again. It was a 5 mile loop, but it was a nice fight because you did stop, you did talk, and it was a good laugh. I knew one person who were you. I've always kind of been in the respect of like, I'm quite embarrassed kind of thing of going to places where I don't know people and then doing a sport that I can't do, exercise. But then talking to everybody,
it is community.
It is exactly, and it is daunting. I keep saying it, but it's daunting for somebody who doesn't run. To go to a running club.
It's not really a running club, is it? It's a social.
Oh, this isn't. What I'm saying is, like, people see, Cardiff running club. It's I'm not going to be as fast or as fit as those guys.
And
that's probably the biggest daunting thing, right? And like you say, people don't have the social side of it in a running club. Whereas when you've got a social run, someone
Well,
else.
and there
So
may
like you
be
say, then the run.
people, right, who drive past the college and see everyone in high vis and see everyone in shorts when it's pissing down with rain, and they're thinking, I'd love to do that. And they don't know that you stop 5 times.
No.
They do know.
You do now.
yeah.
Or that you're willing to walk with them. And it's about kind of engaging and kind of having that community and that intimacy as a group where you can say, do you know what? Listen, yeah, you've come for the run, but if you need to get stuff off your chest or whatever, if you just want company, then that's fine too. I think, as someone that most definitely connected with it, there is a commonality, isn't there, with mental health and running.
Oh, 100%.
And it seems like if you spoke to 10 people, a good 7 or 8 of them at least would say, oh yeah, I go running. That helps me. It helps me clear my mind or whatever. And, but also I think the thing about like endurance and putting your body through stuff that is difficult, and like obviously you were at TID Talks, you've done an ultra marathon, we had Carl was there. Yeah. The amazing Carl.
Well, listen, we had met Carl before TID Talks.
And he does these insane feats of human endurance.
7 weeks until his 200 miler.
Yeah, and which is incredible. But I always find it really interesting, that link between kind of running and specifically running, because I know lots of people I go to the gym and I do a big workout and I get out that, and that's great. But you hear more people, if you had to ask me what's the exercise you do to help your mental health, 9 times out of 10 it's running.
Yeah, like I definitely, and I think that as well. Like, if I was home every week early enough, I'd be on the socials every week. I go out on a Sunday. If anyone comes out, that's ideal. But, I still go. Whether one person turns up or no one, I'm still out. And you do it. You go home and you think, I'm glad I done that. Yeah. And even sometimes you're like, I don't really want to go today, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Feel better after it.
And then it's like,
I was going to say the mug.
If you can see it
The
somewhere.
mug is great.
Look at that.
Dunelm finest.
He even made me a coffee today.
It says, wonderful. How you feel the minute after you run. So yeah, it is true.
Yeah,
I definitely feel like shit at the time, half the time, didn't you? But
was it always, was it always something that you enjoyed though, or was it something that you grew?
Literally took the question out of my mouth.
Sorry, John. Or was it something that you grew to?
I started running when my son was born. So where are we now? Yeah, he's 10 this year. And for me, it wasn't work. It wasn't in the house. It wasn't. Sounds harsh, I know, but it wasn't baby stuff. It was just an hour or half hour, whatever it was, to start of me out the house, and just the sound of my feet was almost like hypnotic. And it was just, as I said earlier, if something can't get sorted on a run, I mean, it's I'm still yet to find something that can't. And it was always that for me. And I think it's only when I got all right and I was doing tidy distances and tidy pace and this sort of stuff that the kind of music came into it. Yeah. But even now when I go, not that I'm running much at the minute, but sometimes I go out music, other times I think it just depends on the mood.
Was it mental health that got you into running in the first place? Was you like you were in a bad place and you decided to do it to kind of clear your mind? Or was it the fact that, I know you've always been into kind of sport-ish.
Yeah, I think probably subconsciously it was mental health. Probably didn't know why I started running to begin with, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's definitely grew to be that.
When you're running, I think.
100%. But yeah, I think, sorry, going back, I'm completely off tangent then, but going back to what you said about the social run as well, about people kind of coming in for different reasons and whatever as well, is that like we've had people that have come to the social run who have never run with anybody else before because they're too anxious, they're too nervous, whatever, who have now gone on to run with running clubs. Yeah. We had somebody turn up who's going through some real bad stuff with their son. I kind of ended up chatting to them one night and I said, oh Christ, you didn't have to come tonight, and they were like, no, I had to come tonight. And it is that thing for people that running is just that thing that I don't know. It just seems to help people more than any other sport or exercise. It's weird, but great at the same time.
And that community, because we keep alluding to this community, and there is a real community that that you've helped to grow and to cultivate. A lot of it's been very organic.
Yeah.
I think yes, you've worked hard for your support by no one can ever take that away. But I think as well, there's been this natural kind of ebb and flow of people, but you've had just this wonderful community of people who have grown to be friends and whatever. And the next steps I can see up there written on a coffee cup is obviously Mind and Soul.
Yeah, mate.
Mind and Soul, mate.
Yeah, so I think two things there. So we did a Couch to 5K before Christmas. 3 people kind of graduated in quotes after that, and 2 come regularly now on the social run, which is great. So we're going to be starting another one of those. Well, Hannah's going to be doing it, right. the physical stuff anyway. So that's all of our socials. I think it's April 4th, April 10th, anyway, whatever it is, down on the Avontaff track. So we're looking. We're hoping we can get like 50 people on that, which would be, which would be absolutely nuts. So whereas the one before Christmas was free. We are charging, I think it's £12, which takes into account all the Eventbrite fees and that sort of crap. But the money goes back into the community interest company, which then fits in nicely. So you mentioned Carl just now. So for those who haven't seen Carl, Carl did TID Talks with us. One of his kind of dreams was to do a Wild Horse 200 race, which is a 200-mile race from Chepstow to Worm's Head.
I love you, Carl.
I know.
Something
else, and touching on that word, or piling on that word community again, Mark, I think we just asked some questions of the community, and yet again they came up trumps, and we got him a place, we got him a coach, we've got him some nutrition, we've got him some cheap shoes, we've got him, and we've kind of used Carl, and he's aware of this, but kind of used Carl as a bit of a guinea pig, to see how much it would cost to kind of get someone who's got a target or a goal, for whatever reason can't do that, whether it's financial, whether it's mental health, whether it's whatever, and to kind of put them through that. So we've put a post out today for 10 people, which we thought we would struggle to get, and I've had to put my phone on silent. Because it's just gone absolutely nuts. And the idea is that we're looking for 10 people who not got a story, but they've got a why they want to run a marathon in 8 weeks' time. Because we've worked off the tarmac, we've bought some places off there. Some money we've raised for Mind and Solemate so far. We've bought places off the tarmac for their marathon in May, so the money's gone back into the community that way for that. Obviously, we've had them a slightly reduced rate, but we paid for the places. They're not free. And then the idea is that we can get 10 people who have got a goal to run a marathon, or a goal to do this for their mental health, or to pay tribute to someone, or whatever that why is. And then if they can raise money while they do it to go back to the pot, that'll fund the next 10 and the next 10 and the next 10, and we'll just break down those barriers. It might be somebody wants to start running, and for whatever reason, they got a couple of kids, or I don't know, single parent, whatever, they just cannot afford a pair of shoes. And the worst thing you can do, as I'm sure we all know, is go running in a crap pair of shoes. Oh, yes. And then your shins are on fire, and your knees are on fire, and your feet hurt, and it's not enjoyable, and you don't want to do it anymore.
Jordan learned that.
There we are.
The hard way.
See?
Unfortunately,
he had size 13 feet, and we couldn't find shoes for him. So it might be that somebody needs a pair of shoes, and it's as simple as that, or a lady needs a sports bra. They're not cheap for a good
Or
one.
you need a sports bra.
Or your Mark needs a sports bra.
There is that.
And the idea is that through the kick we can just overcome these barriers, really.
Yeah.
So
and it is most hobbies these days, hobbies or sport,
all cost.
all cost, and to get
costs.
the best is expensive, and to do this is absolutely amazing, and to get people who really need that push to get them on the right track.
it was such a driver for the shop. Like, obviously you touched on earlier, but the reason the shop is here was because of my own mental health. That it was never not going to be about that. Obviously, the shop's got to bring in a certain amount of money to pay the bills and to cover my mortgage and this sort of stuff. Yeah. But it's never been about,
it's not about
let's become sport shoes or whatever.
Yeah,
it's about let's use this and build a community and
it's
really
not
make a
about,
difference
we
with
need
it.
to sell this amount of shoes.
No.
We want to look after everyone that walks through that door.
Exactly that, yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then, you know, like through that type of initiative, you may be knowingly or unknowingly, you know, you may save someone's life by doing that.
Yeah.
Because that may be what they need.
Yeah.
And that's incredible, really, when you really step back and look at it. And you think, we will listen to your plight. We will support you. You know, you don't get support anywhere else, but we will support you. Even if it is, as you said, we will put the shoes on you. We can't do the running for you, but we can give you everything so that you can do it to, you know, in the best set of circumstances. I think it's incredible.
They can't walk into like a shoe shop and say,
Well, they wouldn't be able to do
or a
that
sports
into
shop and be like, oh, I need a pair of shoes, but I can't afford them. Can you help me out?
Yeah.
How many people are going to do that?
Yeah, security, come and get them.
Yeah, you know.
No, we did it earlier. So we had a guy in this morning, this afternoon, whatever, to do gait analysis. Took a pair of trail shoes. He's doing a couple of ultras off his own back, nothing to do with charity or anything like that. And then he just happened to drop into conversation. Oh, by the way, funny enough, Hannah's involved again. But he was looking for a track, and Hannah loves having tough track. To do, I want to steal his standards, I don't know how public this is, but to do a world record attempt verified by Guinness.
Nice.
Fair play. And he said, I probably want to get some kind of road shoes as well, because just to kind of do that, obviously a lot of training between now and then. So I said, well, I can't give you a pair, but you cover the cost, so I don't make anything on it. I'll give you the road shoes for cost price. And it's like, and as my own business, you got the flexibility to do that, you know. And again, it's not something that I'm sure if you went off to sports shoes, they're not saying they don't do anything with charity, because we all know the big companies and things do. But it's
but I think it's that human touch.
Exactly that.
They walk through the door and you speak to people. It's not, oh, I'll click that, it'll be delivered tomorrow. Yeah.
Very transactional.
If they don't fit, send them back.
Thanks. And it'll take 6 weeks to get another pair, and
there's loads we can do. I think it's touched on it right at the end of the TID Talk chat. And I said there's loads we can do, and there's loads we will do.
it's just the start, I suppose.
It is just the start, but obviously the business side of it has got to be self-sufficient, which it is. It's been a struggle, because going back to the point earlier, we've grown and grown, so anything we've made has gone back in to grow the ranges and grow what we stock, and there's still
And like you say,
more that we haven't got.
The stock levels are not just going to be, we'll have one of this, one of that. You can't work like that.
And we do stock like we'll get one of each size of something. A jacket, we'll have a small, medium, large, extra large, or whatever. And it is frustrating when somebody comes in and somebody just left with the medium and they wanted the medium.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I can't afford to buy 15, and I don't want to be stuck with them at the end of the season either. You know, so
it's got to work both ways.
Yeah, and we are learning. And I think once we've got our first year of data and stuff, it'll be easier to make decisions on peaks and
what you need
times
to
a
buy.
year. But it's hard.
How different is 2024 Solemate owning Paul to pre-shop Paul in terms of your own mental health? You know, because you've alluded to it a couple of times, and obviously it was alluded to a little in your TID Talks.
I mean, very different.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very different. Again, touching on TID Talks, but this is the first winter in 6 years where I've reduced medication and not put it up.
Nice.
I'll tend to come through the summer going, this is great.
Yeah.
I'll reduce the medication, and it comes winter and it's dark and it's wet and it's cold and it's horrible. And I think, right, I need more tablets now. And then, so me and Mark were speaking earlier, we touched upon sertraline and didn't agree with me, so I went on to, what was the other one, citalopram. And then I kind of got to the limit on that one, and they were like, well, we can't give you any more because that buggers your organs up, so we'll take you off that because we need to go higher, and we move you on to fluoxetine, and that went up.
It's like a cocktail and a kind of the the problem, isn't it, is because they're trying to match the level, it turns into a bit of kind of like, yeah, it turns into like a kid's science lesson. Well, I'll put a bit of this in, and we put a bit of that, and we'll hope that the level is enough. And then what happens is if the level exceeds that, it's like, right, what are we going to do now? And, you know, with your particular kind of situation, which from what you're describing sounds a lot like SAD, the seasonal affective disorder.
Got a lamp and everything.
Yeah, yeah, you know, and I know people incredibly close to me who are exactly the same, and they are like two different people across 12 months of the year, where they'll be amazing from the spring and the summer, and they kind of they target it, they look at it, and they think, oh my god, yes. And then the minute then that kind of that late autumn, that winter starts, and that's the beginning of this kind of hibernation period of that individual. And it is, you know, because there's no rhyme or reason for it.
No, and I think, how can I phrase this without it sounding bad, but I think there's sometimes a difference between being really unhappy as well and depressed. I mean, say that in quotes, not to dumb it down, but like, I've used the term in the past, depressed. I'm pretty sure I was just really unhappy in scenario, job, this sort of stuff. And I think, kind of changing those pieces of my life and doing what I want to do. I'm perhaps being selfish about it, you know, but needing to be selfish about it.
Yeah, you've got to put yourself first. Like.
Yeah, and it's been a massive, like, even my parents have said, like, that they got their son back and things like this, which is like, I mean, that's mega, that is, you know. And I could probably come off the tablets now. I said, I'm not even sure, really, like, if I was in this position, I mean, I wouldn't have got you without it, but if I was in this position 5 years ago, maybe I wouldn't have been on the tablets in the first place, and this sort of stuff. But yeah, I feel like I could come off completely now, but I'm just like, it's still dark. It's still cold. We've had sleet today.
And it's the unknown, isn't it? And it's the unknown.
I'll wait till the spring.
Yeah, and it's because you would have been through it, and you know what that dark place looks like, and how you feel, and how it like physically, mentally, emotionally, how it makes you. You're there thinking, you know, I'm pretty confident. I think I could come off him. But what happens if it comes back?
And I've been there before.
Because it's like that, you know, it's like the demon on your shoulder, and that's kind of, you know, you think, you know, I'm, and then all of a sudden I'm still you. Yeah, I am still you, and that's scary then, because you kind of don't want to be reliant, but then at the end of the day, if it works for you, it works for you.
Take the tablet every night,
you know, exactly, you know.
You know, where was your low point, or what was your low point, or your lowest rock bottom point where you thought, fuck, this is bad?
I think, I probably got there when I had the idea for this place. I'd probably been there before, I think. Thinking back to any in particular, I remember, it's hot off the press, this one, I've never told anyone this before, but but I remember when I was working down in Caerphilly, I don't know if you know Caerphilly, but there's a Morrison's petrol station, and you kind of turn off the road, and you kind of come back on yourself to go into the petrol station, and a lorry pulled out, and just for that split second, I almost floored it.
Yeah.
And it was like that. I never even, like suicide never entered my head really, but it was just that one point that I thought I could have, like, you know, I mean, I was just like, that's probably the closest I've been to thinking it. Yeah.
And that's all it takes sometimes, is that thought.
Yeah, well,
once that thought needs to go in.
And it's, you know, and it's almost, I believe the technical term, isn't it, is passive suicide, where you're kind of unknowingly thinking about it, and it's something that you haven't kind of pre-planned or whatever, but if an opportunity was to present itself, you wouldn't stop it. So it kind of, you know, it's, you know, but like I said, it's, you know, and you know, and obviously I think I speak for all the boys and anyone watching, you know, that says, you know, that we appreciate you being that candid, because it's not easy to do.
Definitely not. I think it's quite brave to be that open and honest about your situations, you know.
Yeah, because
I think it's great that you can actually speak about it, openly about it. And I think maybe you look back yourself, maybe like you said, and then you never would have spoke about some of the things you speak about now.
And I know, again, another reason we're doing this, but it's like I know the difference it makes. Speaking, go back to Carl. Carl came in a week before I met him in TID Talks, and we just ended up chatting. It was, again, Saturday morning, he just rocked up to buy some stuff, and we ended up chatting about running, and ended up talking about mental health, and I just met him.
Yeah.
And it was that, and then I walked into TID Talks that night, and he was like, okay, it's you. You know, and I genuinely didn't know he was there.
A story like Carl's, which is just this roller coaster of emotion and resilience and grit. That, you know, I think that's the word that comes to mind when I think of Carl is grit. And you know, again, it is funny how things turn out. Like you said, you know, you've been in this low point, in this kind of dark place, to where you think, you know what, I never want to go back there. I don't want anyone else to ever feel like it. How can I do it? Well, this is a hell of a fucking start.
And then that's the kind of the questions we want to ask. And because it's like, if there's a person out there, to quote the podcast name, just that one, or just one man out there that's going through that, looking, and hopefully somebody looks at this and goes, oh, that was me today. I could have ended it. And then to look at you and your amazing business and what you've achieved in the last year, you know, and if that sparks something.
Well, but you know, but not even that, is it? You know, it's even if someone sat there and they may be thinking, oh, I take meds, I take tablets to kind of level me out. Because I always remember being told that when I went on to antidepressants, because I'm no longer on them, but I was on them. And I remember being told, listen, they're not a cure, it'll level you out. I always remember being told that. Don't expect them to work miracles, it'll take the edge off. Okay, cool. But if there's someone who is listening, they're thinking, oh, well, I take it, but I don't feel like I you know, no, own it. Because if it works for you, and if that's what levels you out and gets you up in the morning and gets you functioning, own it.
So this is the segment called Your Voice that I said that we would do on this podcast, the last podcast. And we've had a email from Lewis Rogers. And he says, hi all, big fan of the podcast.
Evening, morning, whatever you mean.
Hi, Lou.
Hope you're well.
Very refreshing, and you end up talking about mental health in its various forms, and it's definitely made me feel much more optimistic by the end of each episode, which is fantastic. So thank you very much for that. It's a really good question.
That's nice.
But he's got a question for, well, all of us really, S3, and we can. So,
The fourth Beatle, we famous.
his question is: at what point did any of you realise you needed support with your mental health, and what was the first thing you did to help to support you and your families?
Oh wow! Okay.
So it's a quite deep question, really, but it's a great question. So thank you. Do you want me to start off? Do you want to go start off?
Yeah, go for it.
You start.
My sort of realisation then is when my wife suffered a cardiac arrest 2 years ago. I wasn't in a good space, but I didn't really know. I knew I wasn't there, but I didn't really know I needed help, which was concerning because they did. The people in the hospital said that we could do counselling and stuff, but it never came about. Like I said in episode 1, that it never came about. I didn't want to go to any sort of charities like Mind, etc., because I didn't think I needed it. And then Josh started the Andy's Man Club in Merth. I thought I'll go and support him for his first day, and ended up crying for 2 hours in front of 20 completely.
You weren't the only one.
I wasn't the only one, no, but
I think there was 20 criers.
Yeah. And then
so it's fine.
and there was that realization where I was like, shit, I think I need to keep on doing it, keep on talking about it. and then yeah, and that's I still suffer from it now, which again I'm learning as it goes on, to be fair. And I spoke to you last Monday, didn't I? No, this Monday.
This month?
Yeah.
Last Monday off.
And
That's great.
And I think, no, I won't edit that one out, Josh. We said about PTSD.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go down the route of that. I don't know when I'm ready, I suppose. But yeah, it's a
It's when you feel comfortable to actually
exactly
talk about it.
Yeah.
I think is.
So like I said, it doesn't do very well with my wife when I'm kind of asking her questions all the time and this, that, and the other. She'll know what I mean. But yeah, I think going down there just to understand the fact that it is going to be okay. But how to understand is the point where I need to get to grips with, really. So yeah, so that's mine.
Yeah. So what was? Let me just. Let me check. What is it? You need support, you mean?
He's old, see.
I'm getting older. Was always Paul.
I look out though, mate.
No, you can't run in a straight line. I can just drag my leg behind me. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. When at what point I realised I needed to support my mental. I think I alluded to it as well on the first episode. I went through a series of different things when I was younger. Kind of family related stuff, which kind of left a bit of a mark on me. I grew up very quickly and felt I had to. But I persevered. I cracked on, and it's funny, that everyone says, oh, you're like the old man who all over. And yeah, there's parts of it which I've taken as a bit of an avatar of sorts, a bit of a personality. But then there's other parts of it is because I felt I needed to grow up quick. But for me, it was a year. It was just over a year after the passing of my grandmother. And me and my grandmother were exceptionally close, and her death, she was the last one of my grandparents to pass away. My father's father died 6 weeks before my mum and dad got married, and my mother's father died when she was very, very young. She hadn't even had her 20th birthday at the time he passed away, and he died very young himself. So that left me with two grandmothers. Well, my mother's mother died when I was about 5, and I got really fleeting memories of her. But my father's mother, my nan, she was around. I was blessed to have her for 23 years, and we had this exceptionally close bond. And when she passed away, everything else started to crumble. If I'm honest, and the mask slipped massively, and I remember kind of getting to a point about 14-15 months after she passed away where I realised that I just wasn't coping. I was telling everyone I was all right, and I was really down in the dumps. I was it wasn't even like nostalgic. I was just talking about all that, it was just loss and grief, and I just wasn't processing it at all. And I just remember just feeling really hollow and really empty, and no way, because you know your body, you know yourself, and remembering and now how I feel and thinking, I don't feel right. You'd be in a room and you'd be smiling and laughing, and in the back of your head you're thinking, I don't want to do this, but I don't want to do it because it's not entertaining me, or because I feel, but it's because I feel sad, I feel down, I feel lost, and kind of realising I couldn't continue to feel like that. I had some really dark, unpleasant trails of thought, and I was like, right, something's got to give. because otherwise I'm not going to be here anymore, to be quite honest. And then I reached out, and I saw a GP. I got to be honest. I've spoke about it as part of Time to Change Wales and their campaigns. I didn't have a fantastic GP experience. The doctor at the time, who I won't name, was in her court, ready to leave when I went in at 4:30 in the afternoon. And you know, when I said I'm not right, she simply said to me, "Well, you don't, you know, will you look all right?" So, you know, you kind of up, you know, it's the uphill fight straight from there. But the first thing I did, you know, it for me, yes, I took medication in the initial days, but for me, the biggest thing I did was I talked, and I started to feel comfortable with talking, and that was my therapy, was to talk and to feel okay about not feeling okay, to use the cliche, you know. But it was the acknowledgement that, you know, no, you're not right. You're not feeling great, but you need to talk about it. And over time, I felt better for doing it. And I think my family, especially my mother, my father as well, but my mother specifically, got it, and she knew how to handle me and how to talk to me, and I was never treated like I had anything wrong with me. It was just, do you want to have a chat? It wasn't, oh, you know, you're down, you know, and you're, you know, being put in that situation. It was, oh, you know, let's have a chat. But yeah, that's kind of what it was for me. It was the passing of someone very special to me, and the fact that it just, right, okay, something got to give, because I just felt empty.
Josh, do you want
Well, I don't know. I think I've been quite lucky, because I think more that I want to help more than anything. Obviously, with you obviously know Kerry, and obviously setting the club up. Yeah, I just think that everyone needs help. And I just want to try and help. Well, I know we can't help everyone, but we can help as many as we can. And that's my aim. You know, we run the club on a Monday. We're doing the podcast. You know, we do whatever we can. I do a social run on a Sunday. You know, everyone's welcome to do whatever they want to do, and I'm more than happy to help everyone. At the end of the day, when you lose someone like Kerry, it can happen to anyone. Like you said, you know, and I think whatever anyone needs, I'll always support them in however they need it. You know, same goes, like, we've all spoke about it. The three of us have spoke about it together, you know. And like you say, talking is the biggest part of it, because the words can go around in your head, and it's just go round and round and round, and then you actually speak them, and they make sense. You know, I think everyone suffers with a bit of anxiety and a little bit of depression, but I think you've got to just step outside the box sometimes. And, you know, there is help. And like you say, you know, you go to the GPs and you look at the waiting lists for GPs and to see somebody. And then, yeah, like, there's places out there you can just turn up and talk, and you're welcomed in open arms. And it's free, you know. And you haven't even got to talk, you know. Like, there's loads of activities, running, walking groups, you name it, it's out there. You just got to reach out. So if you are feeling down, reach out.
Yeah, I think for me it was, I can't remember which year it was now, but when I first started on medication, I think, yeah. So I just remember going back to SAD. I remember working on because I jumped on loads of jobs just trying to ignite this passion again, just find something I was actually interested in doing. And I jumped into a recruitment gig, and based on Cathedral Road in Cardiff, and I think I was there from like the November to the February. It was dark, it was wet, I was going to work in the dark, I was going home in the dark, it was fucking horrible. Hated the job, and yeah, I remember sitting in a house one evening filling out like an online form thing for the GP, just to say, like, I just don't feel right. And then they said, right, you got an appointment, come in and kind of chat to us. And I just remember going in there, and the doctor's like, I was just reading your online kind of e-consult thing, but just tell me, like, obviously I'd rather speak to you than read that. And I just burst into tears. Yeah, and she was like, right, yeah, and it is, and I think, as you all said, really, I think talking, I think once you get comfortable with talking, it helps so much. And I think, just being able to, I mean, there was nothing she could do per se. It was just me just getting the last 5 years or whatever it was off my chest 100%. Over the space of 5 minutes, and then obviously we've ended up here now. But I think that was the point for me. It was just enough was enough. Something's got to give. I needed something. I just kind of knew that I got to where I needed to be before I asked for help, I suppose. There's no defining moment, but you just knew.
Can we talk about the fact that you, because I needed to do this.
Okay, come on, Mark, let's do it. Come on.
Years. The first time I ever saw Paul was in the Candac Suite in Merthyr Town Football Club, which is now Webley's Bar. And there was a Stereophonics tribute band on. They were fucking brilliant. And I remember Steve Reese, who ran the bar at the time, turning around to me and saying, God, they're good, and I said, yeah, I said, they're class. And he said, singer's fucking bald, see? I said, what do you mean? And I looked, and, the leather jacket on, and the sunglasses, and the
sweating like a bastard.
And the Kerry Jones hair, and the voice was incredible. And I remember thinking, well, you've had a... And then seeing the singer after the set remove the entire head of hair.
It's like the Fonz.
Yeah, well, but do you ever miss gigging? Because obviously you did your own stuff.
And that's how the phonics thing started.
But then you were doing all that like Stereophonics, and it was great. And you had steady gig. It seemed like you were always playing somewhere.
Yeah, not just like the Pinnacle or anything, but we used to play the Globe. We used to sell the Globe out in Cardiff, things like that. I started doing original music, and phonics was up, like, obviously, as all of us were, I guess, growing up in the Valleys. The phonics were a big influence. I was a big fan, so there's tons of Kelly, I guess, that seeped, what's the word? Anyway, it's like breathed and broad.
They seduced, that's what they did.
Seduced, here we are.
They used to do Maybe Tomorrow, you'd see women crying in the front.
Oh, yeah, every orifice. And people used to go, you sound like Kelly Jones, I thought, do you know what, we'll make some money out of it then, bugger it. So I kind of put the tribute together, and it was really good, and we had like a lot of the phonics, like road crew and things, turn up one night in like Blaenhaven randomly, and the boy we had playing the guitar used to be the guitar tech and the keyboard tech, I think, for the phonics. So he had all the stories and all the, this is Kelly's old pedal. It was like quite authentic and quite nice, and the fact we were Welsh as well. Quite a few on the circuit that weren't kind of doing it. Do I miss it? I probably miss the hour on stage.
Yeah.
Not the rest of it.
You don't miss the buzz.
No, I think
you miss the buzz of the performance and the crowd.
And I think, like, going back to the Globe, we'd be there like 1 o'clock in the afternoon for a 10 o'clock start and a 1 a.m. arrival home. Yeah. And I was earning good money at the time, so I wasn't even doing it for the money, but it was like a long day out. I was away with work in the week, and then it was like I was taking my weekend, and it was a lot of things that kind of went, I just can't be bothered anymore.
No. But you say about transformation, and it's incredible, because I remember when you were setting up across the street, and you had the cafe, and you were going to do the walk and talk group, and I popped, and I remember saying to a friend of mine, I'm going to go to Paul, and it said, who's that? The bloke from the Stereophonics. And I was like, yeah. Whereas now you say your name and you mean Paul from the running shop. Yeah, okay. And it's interesting to me that you've kind of changed personas.
Yeah. We almost called it the running shop, by the way. Well, that's what everyone calls it.
But I think it's incredible. Yeah. I think it's incredible.
Just to touch on that, actually, that's why we ended up calling it Solemate in the end, because we were going to call it the running shop or run and finish business. and yeah, we kind of we wanted something to capture the mental health stuff and the running stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, when we go, soul, and they go, I like the fish. It's like, no,
Like
shoot.
the foot.
Yeah. But yes, that's where Solemate came from.
Well, no, I was just going to say, that I just think it's incredible. I think the transformation in you as a person. I think what you've achieved in the town. I think what you've done as well as a local business to inspire other local businesses. Because, as I said earlier, this is a town which is crying out for people to take a chance on them. There would have been, and as I said, I'm a very proud Merthyr boy. Absolutely. And for as many people as are out there that want things to do well, there are detractors, there are people in the background that are thinking, that won't last 2 minutes, or that'll be a flash in the pan. They'll be shut by Christmas.
We read it all on Facebook. Oh, great, another sports shop.
And
I remember reading some of them.
yeah, and I remember thinking,
Kill the business before it's even open. Like,
well, there you
surely
go.
get behind
Social
the
media, I mean,
town.
it gives and it takes, and it's social media. You just got to play the game with it a bit, I suppose. But I mean, for as good as it is for any new business, and that, like, there's no way we would have grown without it.
Yeah.
It can be a very,
And
very
the social
toxic place.
game is on point,
Yeah.
like it's on. It's like the branding. It's engaging, and it's consistent.
Yeah, we
and I think
get a lot
that's
of feedback from the brands saying the same, that from all the accounts they deal with.
Yeah, I think that's part of, you look at some local businesses and they set up and they'll do it, we're open. Yeah. And then the next post is 4 years later.
Yeah.
And they say, we haven't seen no, but you're not consistent. Whereas you are you are constant. You are a presence. And I think it's like I keep heaping praise. Like I said, I don't run.
You will.
I will run again. I was saying that like.
Jordan's laughing, you mind?
No, I know you don't want to run. You don't want to say.
No, I
nothing.
don't want to run. No,
You
but
don't.
I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to run. I'm going to have to run. I'm going to
You
have
get
to.
another photo.
We don't want
Yes,
to.
I'm here again.
Yeah. But on that happy note. So again, thank you to Ewan in EJW Carpentry for sponsoring, and thank you as well to Stefan.
Stefan and Charlotte.
And Charlotte. And Charlotte at Valleys Gas as well.
Yeah.
We will be back soon, very soon. We won't be in here. We won't be in here.
Thank God, says Jordan.
We'll be somewhere else.
You just
Yeah.
like that.
After the way it's mainly me that's ripped into Jordan. The next episode will be audio only, and it'll be just me and Josh in the back of Nolly's Nibbles van
On your phone.
on our phones. Cheers.
Thank you so much again for your support again, and thanks to Lewis for that amazing question.
Yeah,
And
cheers, Lou.
again, thank you for your support on the podcast. Is amazing. Them words just mean 1,000 million.
Right, like you were there, up to
It does.
Thanks all our days up. It's awesome.
Yeah, but no, again, socials, keep on plugging us, keep on sharing, keep on liking and subscribing and commenting again. And that segment I mentioned earlier, give us an email and we'd love to listen, or love to hear your thoughts and questions again, and where you're listening from, what you're doing when you're listening. It does mean so much. So yeah, thank you again.
And
Don't forget to stop in Solemate.
Yeah,
For your
come
money.
by.
Whatever you need, drop in.
Or
just coffee.
Or just to see Paul. Ask him to sing some Stereophonics.
Yeah, I'll bring my wig.
That's a promise. But I hope you enjoy. We'll see you soon. And to the person on Merthyr Matters who said, not for me. Don't worry, mate. Not everything's for everyone.
No.
See you soon.
Take it easy. Bye.